Let me tell you something nobody wants to hear. Most people will tell you that success is about finding your passion or waiting for the right opportunity to knock on your door. They tell you to follow your heart and everything will just fall into place like magic. That is a lie. It is a comforting, sugar-coated lie designed to keep you exactly where you are. The truth is much colder and much more demanding. Success isn't found. It is built brick by brick in the hours when the rest of the world is still dreaming. If you are waiting for a feeling of motivation to strike before you get out of bed, you have already lost the battle. The 1% of people who actually achieve their dreams don't operate on feelings. They operate on systems. They don't wake up early because they feel like it. They wake up early because they made a command to themselves and they refuse to disobey it. Listen to me carefully. Your passion won't save you when things get hard. Your discipline will. If you cannot master the first hour of your day, you will never master the trajectory of your life. It is time to stop listening to the myths and start looking at the clock. You think you have time, but you don't. You act like you're going to live forever, pushing your dreams off to some mythical tomorrow that never shows up on the calendar. Every morning you hit that snooze button, you are essentially telling the universe that your dreams aren't worth the effort of opening your eyes. You are voting for mediocrity. You are choosing comfort over character. And let's be honest, comfort is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. While you are wrapped in those warm sheets, the person who is going to take your spot is already downstairs, sweating, reading, and preparing. They are gaining a lead that you will never close if you keep sleeping in. This isn't about being a morning person or night owl. Those are just labels people use to excuse their lack of discipline. This is about whether or not you have the internal strength to what is required when it is required. Nobody is coming to save you. No mentor is going to drag you out of bed and force greatness upon you. It has to come from within. It has to be a decision that you make before your feet even touch the floor. Think about an iceberg for a moment. When you see it floating in the ocean, you only see a small fraction of its actual size. The massive, immovable foundation is hidden deep beneath the dark water. That is exactly how success works. People see the trophy, the bank account, the fit body, and the confident smile. They see the 10% that is visible to the world, but they don't see the 90% that happened in the dark. They don't see the years of invisible work. They don't see the 4 a.m. wake-up calls when it was freezing outside and your bones ached. They don't see the thousands of hours of study, the failed attempts, and the silent sacrifices. Success is a lonely road, and most of that road is traveled in the early hours of the morning when nobody is there to clap for you. If you need an audience to stay disciplined, you aren't ready for greatness. You have to be willing to work in the shadows for years so that you can eventually stand in the light for a moment. This is what separates the 1% from the 99%. The 99% want the result without the process. They want the summit without the climb, but the 1%, they fall in love with the climb. They value the invisible work more than the public praise. Let's talk about the reality of preparation. There is an old saying that luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. But let me tell you something deeper. If the opportunity arrives and you aren't prepared, it's not just a missed chance. It's a tragedy. You've seen it happen. A position opens up, a deal comes across the table, or a life-changing connection is made, and the person loses it because they weren't ready. They hadn't done the reading. They hadn't built the skill. They hadn't mastered their energy. When you wake up early, you are telling the world you are preparing for something big. You are sharpening your tools while your competition is letting theirs rust. You are building a reservoir of mental and physical energy that you can tap into when the pressure gets high. Most people wait for the opportunity to start preparing. That's too late. You prepare now so that when the door opens, you can walk through it with total confidence. You don't get ready, you stay ready, and staying ready starts with how you handle your morning. It starts with the realization that every minute you spend sleeping past your alarm is a minute of preparation you are handing over to someone else. Pressure doesn't create your character, it reveals it. I want you to imagine two different people. The first is an entrepreneur I knew years ago. For 5 years, he worked a night shift at a warehouse just to keep his lights on. He would get home at 3 a.m., sleep for 3 hours, and be up at 6 a.m. to work on his own business. He didn't have a fancy office. He didn't have investors. He just had a desk in the corner of a studio apartment and a burning desire to change his life. He felt the pressure of debt, the pressure of exhaustion, and the pressure of people telling him he was crazy. But that pressure revealed a pattern of ironclad discipline. He didn't break, he became a diamond. Now look at the second person. This person has a good job and plenty of potential, but the moment things get slightly difficult, a bad day at work, a little bit of stress, they fold. They sleep in. They distract themselves with mind-numbing entertainment. They blame their environment. Pressure exposed their lack of a foundation. Which one are you? When life gets heavy, do you sink to the level of your excuses or do you rise to the level of your training? Your morning routine is your training ground. It is where you prove to yourself that you can handle the weight of your own ambitions. Let me tell you about the focus fortress. We live in a world that is designed to steal your attention. Every app on your phone, every notification, every urgent email is a thief trying to rob you of your most valuable asset, your focus. If you start your day by checking your phone in bed, you have already lost. You have allowed the world to dictate your mood and your priorities before you've even had a glass of water. You are playing defense. To win, you must play offense. You need to build a fortress around your mind in those early hours. The time music between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. is sacred because the world is quiet. There are no pings, no demands, and no distractions. This is the time to cultivate your vision. Your focus is like gold. You wouldn't just leave gold sitting out on the sidewalk for anyone to take, would you? Then why do you give your attention away so cheaply? There are 3 energy vampires you must guard against. Toxic people who drain your spirit, social media that feeds your insecurities, and the opinions of people who haven't achieved what you want to achieve. Block them out. Build your fortress. Use the early morning to strengthen your resolve so that when you finally engage with the world, you are unshakable. Now, I want to break down the growth sequence for you because most people think success is a straight line. It's not. It's a cycle that repeats, and you have to master every stage. The first stage is input quality. What are you putting into your brain? If you're waking up and consuming garbage, gossip, news, negativity, your output will be garbage. You must feed your mind with high-quality fuel. The second stage is application. This is the 1% law. You don't need to change your whole life in one day. You just need to be 1% better than you were yesterday. 1 extra rep, 1 more page read, 1 more hour of deep work. The third stage is evaluation. Most people are afraid to look at their own numbers. They don't want to see the truth. But you must review your progress weekly. Be honest with yourself. Where did you fail? Where did you lose focus? The fourth stage is correction. This is where you decide to pivot or persevere. If something isn't working, change the tactic, but never change the goal. Finally, there is persistence. This is the compound effect. Small actions taken consistently over time lead to massive world-altering results. If you skip any of these stages, the cycle breaks. Wake up early to ensure you have the time to go through this sequence properly. Listen to me carefully. Systems will always beat moods. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fickle. They come and go like the wind. If you only work when you feel motivated, you will only work about 3 days a month. You need a system that functions, even when you feel like absolute garbage. You need non-negotiables. For me, waking up early is a non-negotiable. It's not a debate. It's not a conversation I have with myself every morning. It is an identity. My system starts the night before. I lay out my clothes. I set my intentions. When that alarm goes off, my body moves before my brain can start making excuses. This is the 90-day sprint system. I want you to commit to 90 days of waking up at 4 a.m. No excuses, no cheating. In the first 30 days, you will hate it. Your body will scream. In the next 30 days, you will start to see the benefit. Your mind will become sharper. In the final 30 days, it will become who you are. You won't even need the alarm anymore. You will become a person of discipline. You will realize that the freedom you've been searching for is actually found on the other side of the discipline you've been avoiding. I want you to think about your life in seasons. Right now, you might be in a winter phase. Everything feels cold, dark, and dormant. You're working hard, but you don't see any green shoots coming out of the ground. It's frustrating. You feel like you're wasting your time, but this is where the strategic patience comes in. In the winter, the roots are growing. Deep beneath the surface, the foundation is being laid. If you stop watering the ground now because you don't see a flower, you kill the harvest of your summer. Most people quit in the winter. They quit 3 in away from the goal. You have to understand the timeline of transformation. The first 3 months are just the foundation. You're clearing the rubble of your old life. At 6 months, you start to see visible changes. People might notice you look different or carry yourself with more confidence, but it takes 12 full months of consistent early morning discipline to experience a total transformation of your reality. You cannot rush the seasons. You can only work within them. Be patient with the results, but be impatient with your actions. Every day you need to pass the mirror test. At the end of the night before you close your eyes, you look yourself in the mirror and ask, did I win today? Don't lie to yourself. If you hit snooze, say it. If you got distracted, admit it. If you gave 50% when you should have given 100%, own it. This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about honest self-assessment. You cannot fix what you will not acknowledge. You need a measurement system for your life. How many hours did you spend on your craft? How many hours did you waste? When you wake up early, you give yourself the best possible chance to pass that mirror test at night. You start the day with a win already in the bag. That momentum carries over into everything else you do. If you win the morning, you win the day. If you win the day, you win the week. If you win the week, you win the year. And if you win enough years, you change your family tree forever. But it all comes back to that one moment in the morning when you have to decide, Will I be the person I said I would be, or will I let myself down again? Let me tell you about the flywheel effect. Imagine a massive metal wheel weighing tons sitting still on an axle. To get it to move, you have to push with everything you have. You push, and for a long time, nothing happens. Then it moves an inch. You keep pushing, it moves a foot, then it completes one full rotation. It feels like a lot of work for very little result. But then, as you keep pushing, the weight of the wheel starts to work for you. It gains momentum. Soon, it's spinning so fast that you couldn't stop it if you tried. That is what waking up early and changing your habits feels like. At first, it's pure struggle. It's all friction and no flow. But eventually, the compound effect kicks in. The math doesn't lie. If you improve by just 1% every day, you will be 37 times better by the end of a year. That is the power of momentum. You will hit plateaus where it feels like you've stopped moving, but that's just the wheel building up energy for the next breakthrough. Don't stop pushing. The breakthrough is coming, but only if you keep the wheel spinning. Breakthrough isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of moving through the world. I want you to close your eyes and paint a vivid picture of your future self, the version of you that didn't give up. Look at how he walks. Look at the respect he commands. Look at the peace in his eyes, because he knows he gave everything he had. That version of you is watching you right now. He is cheering for you. He is begging you not to quit. You have two paths in front of you today. One path is easy. It's paved with excuses and warm blankets and the comfort of being like everyone else. That path leads to a place called regret. It's a bitter, dark place where you wonder, what if? For the rest of your life. The other path is steep. It's rocky. It requires you to wake up when it's dark and work when you're tired. But that path leads to pride. It leads to a life that actually means something. Choose the hard path. Wake up early. Control your mind. Change your life. Because at the end of the day, the only thing worse than failure is knowing you never truly tried. Get up. The world is waiting for you. Now, I want you to understand the weight of the silence that exists at 4 o'clock in the morning. Most people fear silence. They fill it with noise, with music, with the voices of others, because in the silence, they are forced to confront themselves. But for the man who is on a mission, that silence is a weapon. It is a tool. When you wake up before the sun, you are entering a space where the static of the world hasn't started yet. You can hear your own thoughts. You can hear your own soul. Let me tell you something. You cannot build a vision if you are constantly being bombarded by the visions of others. You need that quiet hour to look at your life with total clarity. Ask yourself, what am I building? Why am I doing this? If you don't have the answers, it's because you haven't spent enough time in the silence. The world is getting louder every day, and your ability to find stillness is what will give you the edge. While they are waking up to notifications and chaos, you are waking up to peace and preparation. That is how you stay ahead of the curve. Let's talk about the focus fortress again, but deeper this time. You have to realize that your mind is like a garden. If you don't actively plant the seeds you want, weeds will grow by default. Negativity, doubt, and comparison are the weeds of the human mind. They don't need help to grow. They just need neglect. When you wake up early, you are tending to your garden. You are pulling out the weeds of yesterday's failures. You are planting seeds of discipline and intent. If you leave your mind open to the world the moment you wake up, you are letting everyone else throw their trash into your garden. Social media is a landfill. The news is a toxic waste site. Why would you start your day there? Listen to me carefully. Protect your headspace like your life depends on it, because it does. Your external reality is just a reflection of your internal state. If your mind is cluttered and reactive, your bank account and your relationships will follow suit. Build that fortress. Lock the gates. Only let in what serves your purpose and your growth. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I'm tired. I didn't get enough sleep. I'll start Monday. That's the voice of the 99% talking. That voice is a master of seduction. It makes sense, doesn't it? It sounds logical. But logic is often just a sophisticated way to justify cowardice. Success is not logical. It is not logical to work 8 hours a day. It is not logical to wake up when it's pitch black outside to run miles in the cold. It is not logical to believe in a dream that nobody else can see. If you want a logical life, stay in bed. You'll have a very reasonable, very average, very forgotten existence. But if you want to be great, you have to be willing to be unreasonable. You have to tell that voice to sit down and be quiet. You have to move your body despite the exhaustion. Fatigue is often just a mental state. Your body can do so much more than your mind gives it credit for. When you push through that initial wall of tiredness, you find a second wind that most people never even know exists. That is where the transformation happens. Consider the archetypal story of the man who decided to rebuild his life from scratch. He had lost his job. His confidence was at an all-time low, and he felt like the world had passed him by. He was 40 years old and felt like a failure. But one morning, he decided he wouldn't hit the snooze button. Just one morning, he got up, drank a glass of water, and walked for 5 minutes. He did it again the next day and the next. That small act of defiance against his own lethargy began to ripple outward. He started reading books instead of watching television. He started applying for jobs he thought were out of his league. Within a year, he wasn't just back on his feet. He was leading a team of people. What changed? Not the economy, not his age, not his past. His morning changed. His relationship with the clock changed. He realized that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you are sloppy with your wake-up time, you will be sloppy with your finances. If you are disciplined with your morning, you will become disciplined with your soul. Nobody is coming to save you. I need you to feel the weight of that sentence. Your parents can't save you. Your boss can't save you. The government isn't going to hand you a life of meaning. You are the only person who can navigate your ship out of the storm. Many people spend their lives waiting for a lucky break. They think success is like winning the lottery. But true success is earned, not won. It's a series of difficult choices made day after day. Waking up early is the first difficult choice of the day. It's the first opportunity to prove to yourself that you are in control. When you win that first battle, the rest of the day looks different. You carry yourself with a different kind of weight. You speak with a different kind of authority. Why? Because you know you've already conquered the hardest part of yourself. You aren't operating on hope. You're operating on evidence. The evidence of your own discipline. The 99% are waiting for a savior. The 1% go into the dark and save themselves. Let me tell you about the 1% law and why it is the most powerful force in the universe. Most people try to change everything at once. They want to go from waking up at 9 a.m. to 4 a.m., from eating junk to being a health nut, all in 24 hours. They fail because they try to leap across a canyon in one jump. You don't need a leap, you need a step. If you can just get 1% better every single day, the math is staggering. Over a year, that compounding interest turns you into a completely different human being. Waking up early gives you the extra time to invest in that 1%. It gives you the space to read 10 pages. It gives you the time to do 20 push-ups. It gives you the quiet to plan your day. These small, seemingly insignificant actions are the bricks of your future empire. Don't look at the mountain and get overwhelmed. Look at the ground and take the next step. Just one, then do it again tomorrow. Consistency is the hallmark of the great. Intensity is for amateurs. Consistency is for professionals. Think about your energy like a bank account. Every distraction, every useless argument, and every hour of oversleeping is a withdrawal. Every morning workout, every hour of deep work, and every healthy meal is a deposit. Most people are walking around in a state of spiritual and physical bankruptcy. They have nothing left to give their dreams because they've spent it all on things that don't matter. When you wake up early, you are making a massive deposit into your personal power. You are starting the day with a surplus. While others are starting their day in debt, rushing, stressed, late, you are moving with calm intentionality. You have time to think. You have time to breathe. You have time to prepare your mind for the battles ahead. Life is going to throw punches at you. That's a guarantee. But it's a lot harder to knock down a man who has already been standing for 4 hours training and focusing. Your morning routine is your armor. Don't go out into the world naked. Let's talk about the strategy of pure persistence. There will be days when you wake up early and you feel absolutely no progress. You'll look in the mirror and see the same person. You'll look at your bank account and see the same numbers. You'll feel like you're doing all this work for nothing. This is the moment of truth. This is where most people fold. They think this isn't working and they go back to sleep. But you have to understand that growth is often invisible until it is explosive. You are like a bamboo tree. For 4 years, a bamboo tree stays underground. You see nothing. But in the 5th year, it grows 80 feet in 6 weeks. Was it only growing in that 5th year? Number. It was growing its root system for 4 years, so it could support the height of its potential. Your early mornings are your root system. You are building the foundation of character that will support the weight of your future success. Without the roots, the tree falls when the wind blows. Don't worry about the height of the tree yet. Just keep watering the ground. There is a law in this universe that says you cannot get what you are not willing to become. If you want the life of a leader, you must have the habits of a leader. If you want the freedom of an elite entrepreneur, you must have the discipline of an elite entrepreneur. You cannot have the prize without the price. And the price is paid in the early hours. It is paid in the sweat that nobody sees. It is paid in the study that nobody knows about. Stop asking for things to be easier and start asking for you to be better. Waking up early is a way of saying to the universe, I am ready for more. It is a demonstration of your worthiness. You are showing that you can be trusted with time. And time is the most precious commodity you have. If you waste it, you are telling the world that you don't value your own life. But if you seize it, if you command it, the world will eventually start to yield to your will. Listen to me carefully. Your future self is watching you right now through the eyes of memory. Think about that. 10 years from now, you will look back on this exact moment, this exact day. You will either look back with a smile of pride, thanking yourself for having the courage to change, or you will look back with the heavy weight of regret. Regret is a ghost that will haunt you. It will whisper about what you could have been. It will show you images of the life you could have lived if you had just been a little more disciplined, a little more focused. Do not give that ghost a home in your heart. Kill it now by taking action. Wake up early tomorrow, not because I told you to, but because you owe it to the man you are going to become. You owe it to your family. You owe it to your potential. The bed is a grave for your dreams. Get out of it. Stand up. Take your life back. Let me tell you about the second archetypal example. I knew a young man who wanted to be a writer. He worked a corporate job that sucked the life out of his soul. From 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock every single day, he would come home exhausted, eat a heavy meal, and fall asleep in front of the television. He did this for 3 years. He kept saying he didn't have the time to write his book. He kept saying he was too tired to chase his dream. Then one day, he had a realization. He realized that if he didn't find the time would find a way to bury him in mediocrity. He decided to flip his schedule. He started going to bed at 9 p.m. and waking up at 4 a.m. In those 3 hours before he had to put on a suit and serve someone else's vision, he served his own. He wrote, he studied, he struggled with the silence. For the first few months, the pages were terrible, but he didn't stop. Because he was awake when the world was asleep, he had no distractions, no emails, no phone calls. Within 2 years, he had finished 2 novels. That man didn't find extra hours in the day. He reclaimed them from the darkness. He used the pressure of his situation to forge a new pattern of existence. That is the power of a strategic morning. You have to understand that your attention is being auctioned off to the highest bidder every single second of the day. Advertisers, social media algorithms, and even the people in your life are all bidding for a piece of your mind. If you don't set your own price, they will buy you for pennies. When you wake up early, you are taking your attention off the market. You are saying that for these first few hours, my mind belongs to me. It does not belong to the news. It does not belong to my friends' vacation photos. It does not belong to my boss's emergencies. It belongs to my growth. This is how you build a focused fortress. Most people are walking around with holes in their mental walls. They let any passing thought or external drama leak in and drain their energy. By the time they actually sit down to do important work, they are running on empty. But when you start your day in the fortress of the early morning, you build up a reserve of mental strength. You become proactive instead of reactive. You move with a sense of calm authority because you've already done the hard work of centering yourself while everyone else was still unconscious. Listen to me carefully. Nobody is coming to save you from your own distractions. You are the one holding the phone. You are the one clicking the links. You are the one choosing to listen to the opinions of people who don't have to live with the consequences of your failure. It is time to audit your environment. Look at the people you spend your time with. Do they challenge you to be better, or do they comfort you in your stagnation? If you are the smartest, most disciplined person in your circle is a cage. You need to be around people who make your current maximum effort look like their warm-up. And the best way to find those people is to go where they are. They aren't at the bars late at night. They aren't sleeping in until noon on Saturdays. They are in the gym at 5 a.m. They are in the office before the lights are even turned on. They are doing the invisible work. If you want to change your life, you have to change your zip code, not just physically, but mentally and socially. You have to move into the neighborhood of excellence. And the entry fee is paid in the early hours of the morning. Let's dive deeper into the growth sequence, specifically the stage of learning. Not all information is created equal. Most people consume what I call mental candy. It tastes good in the moment. It gives you a quick rush, but it has zero nutritional value for your soul. If you want to grow, you need mental meat. You need to read the books that are hard to understand. You need to study the systems that make you feel a little bit stupid at first. In the early morning, your brain is in its most plastic state. It is ready to absorb and integrate new patterns. If you spend that time learning a new skill or deepening your understanding of your craft, you are practicing the 1% law. You are adding a layer of competence that will compound over time. Imagine if you spent just 1 hour every morning studying a specific subject. In a year, that's 365 hours. In 5 years, you would be an expert. The only thing standing between you and mastery is the discipline to stay awake when your bed is calling you back to sleep. Input quality determines output quality. If you want a high-performance life, stop feeding your brain low-grade fuel. The second stage of that sequence is application. Knowledge without action is just a sophisticated form of procrastination. I see so many people who are learning junkies. They watch every video, read every blog, and attend every seminar, but their lives never change. Why? Because they never get their hands dirty. They are afraid to apply what they know, because application involves the risk of failure. But listen to me. Failure is just data. It's a feedback loop. When you wake up early, use that time not just to think, but to do. If you're learning about fitness, do the push-ups. If you're learning about business, send the emails or build music the product. The 1% daily rule applies to your actions, not just your thoughts. Small, imperfect actions taken consistently will always outperform perfect plans that never leave the drawing board. You don't need a 20-page business plan. You need to start. You don't need a 6-month workout program. You need to move. The early morning is your laboratory. It's where you test your theories and see what actually works in the real world. Now, we talk about evaluation and correction. This is the part where most people get emotional and quit. They try something for a week. It doesn't work perfectly, and they decide it's not for them. They take failure personally. But an elite performer looks at failure like a scientist looks at a failed experiment. They say, okay, that didn't produce the result I wanted. Why? Was it the timing? Was it the effort? Was it the strategy? They evaluate without ego. Every Sunday morning, while the rest of the world is recovering from Saturday night, you should be sitting down with a pen and paper. Review your week. Did you wake up when you said you would? Did you protect your focus? Did you move the needle on your most important goal? If the answer is no, don't beat yourself up. That's a waste of energy. Just correct the music course, pivot, change the tactic. Maybe you need to put your phone in another room. Maybe you need to go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Correction is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Persistence is just the act of staying on that bridge until you reach the other side. Systems beat moods every single day of the week. Let's get practical about the 4 a.m. wake up. You don't wake up at 4 a.m. by having willpower. You wake up at 4 a.m. by having a system that makes it inevitable. It starts with the reverse alarm. If you want to wake up at 4 o'clock, you have to be in bed by 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. You have to shut off the screens an hour before that. You have to prime your environment. If your gym clothes are already laid out and your coffee is ready to be brewed, the friction is gone. Your brain loves friction. When it's trying to keep you safe and comfortable, it will use any tiny obstacle as an excuse to stay in bed. I can't find my socks. The floor is too cold. I didn't prep my breakfast. Eliminate the obstacles the night before. This is what I call the non-negotiables framework. There are certain things in your life that are not up for debate. For me, the morning routine is a non-negotiable. It doesn't matter if I'm traveling, if I'm tired, or if I have a long day ahead. The system runs because the system is what keeps me upright. I want to introduce you to the 90-day sprint system. Most people can do anything for a week. A few can do it for a month, but very few can sustain a high level of intensity for 90 days. Why 90 days? Because that is the amount of time it takes to move a habit from your conscious mind into your subconscious identity. In the first 30 days of waking up early, you are fighting your biology. Your body is wondering why you're doing this. You feel groggy, irritable, and tempted to quit. This is the deconstruction phase. In the second 30 days, you enter the installation phase. You start to find your rhythm. You start to see the benefits of the extra time. You start to feel a sense of pride. In the final 30 days, you enter the integration phase. This is where the magic happens. Waking up early no longer feels like something you're doing. It feels like who you are. You don't try to wake up early anymore. You just wake up. Once you reach this stage, you have a massive advantage over the rest of the world. You have a superpower. You have the ability to outwork and outthink anyone who is still operating on the 30-day cycle of starting and stopping. Success is a matter of strategic patience. You have to understand the seasons of growth. We live in a world of instant gratification. You want the muscles today. You want the money today. You want the respect today. But nature doesn't work that way. A farmer doesn't plant a seed and then go out the next morning and dig it up to see if it's growing. He knows it's growing. He trusts the process. He knows that if he does his part, watering, weeding, protecting, the harvest will come in its own time. Your life has seasons too. You might be in a season of winter right now. Maybe you're working a job you hate, living in a place you don't like, and feeling like your efforts are being ignored. This is the most dangerous time for your dreams. This is when the voice of why bother is the loudest. But winter is not permanent. It is a necessary foundation. The cold of winter kills off the pests that would ruin the harvest in the summer. The struggles you are facing right now are killing off your weaknesses. They are making you tough. They are preparing you for the weight of the success you are asking for. Don't curse the winter. Use it to build your roots deep into the ground. The timeline of reality is something you must accept if music, you want to stay in the game long enough to win. Most people overestimate what they can do in a month and underestimate what they can do in a year. In the first 3 months of your new disciplined life, you are just building the foundation. You are clearing out the garbage of your old habits. You might not see much external change, but internally, the structure is forming. At 6 months, you will start to see the visible change. Your body will look different. Your work will have a higher quality. Your confidence will be undeniable. But it's at the 12-month mark that the total transformation occurs. This is where the compound effect has moved enough weight that the momentum becomes unstoppable. You look back at the person you were a year ago, and you don't even recognize him. He looks like a stranger. That transformation is worth the 365 early mornings. It is worth the sacrifices. But you have to be willing to play the long game. You have to be willing to be boring and consistent while everyone else is chasing the next shiny object. Let's talk about the measurement systems you need to keep yourself on track. You cannot manage what you do not measure. I want you to start keeping a discipline log. It doesn't have to be fancy, just a simple notebook where you mark a yes or no for your core habits every day. Did you wake up at your target time? Did you do your deep work? Did you move your body? At the end of every week, look at your percentage. If you're at 50%, you're average. If you're at 80%, you're on your way to greatness. If you're at 95% or higher, you are becoming a machine. This is the mirror test in written form. It prevents you from lying to yourself. We all have a tendency to think we're doing better than we actually are. We remember the one day we went to the gym and forget the 3 days we skipped. The log doesn't forget. The log tells the cold, hard truth. And the truth is what will set you free to improve. When you see your progress laid out in black and white, it creates a psychological drive to keep the streak going. You don't want to see a no on that page. That drive is what gets you out of bed on the mornings when you're feeling weak. Feedback and refinement are the marks of a professional. When an athlete watches film of their game, they aren't looking for the plays where they did everything right. They are looking for the mistakes. They are looking for the footwork that was slightly off, the read they missed, the moment they lost focus. You need to watch the film of your own life with that same level of detachment. If you had a bad day, don't just say, "I had a bad day." Analyze it. What was the trigger? Did you stay up too late the night before? Did you eat something that crashed your energy? Did you let a negative person get under your skin? Once you identify the trigger, you can create a protocol to avoid it next time. This is called a course correction protocol. Successful people aren't people who never fail. They are people who fail, learn, and adjust faster than everyone else. They have a shorter gap between the mistake and the correction. Waking up early gives you the time to do this analysis. It gives you the space to look at your game film and make the necessary adjustments for the day ahead. Let me tell you about the power of the momentum loop. You felt it before. It's that feeling when everything just seems to click. You wake up early, you get your workout done, you tackle your hardest task before noon, and you feel like you're walking on air. That's not magic. That's the physics of progress. In the early morning, when you stack those small wins, you are building a psychological momentum that carries you through the chaos of the rest of the day. It's like a snowball rolling down a mountain. It starts small, but as it picks up speed and mass, it becomes an unstoppable force. Most people spend their entire lives trying to push a stationary snowball uphill. They start, they stop, they wait, they hesitate. They never get to the part where the momentum takes over. But when you commit to the early morning lifestyle, you are constantly feeding that momentum. You are making it easier for yourself to succeed tomorrow music by what you do today. This is the flywheel effect in action. Once that wheel is spinning, your output increases, while your required music effort actually decreases. You become a person of high impact because you've mastered the art of starting. Think about the math of compounding one more time. The difference between 1.00 and 1.01 seems like nothing. It's a penny. It's a single minute. It's one extra push-up. But when you raise that 1.01 to the power of 365, the result is 37.7. You are nearly 38 times better than when you started. Now, look at what happens when you go the other way. If you decrease by just 1% every day, if you hit snooze once, if you skip one meal, if you let one distraction win, 0.99 to the power of 365 is 0.03. You have almost completely eroded your potential. This is the law of the universe. There is no such thing as staying the same. You are either compounding toward greatness or you are compounding toward decay. Waking up early is the primary way you ensure that your curve is moving upward. It is the insurance policy for your future. While the rest of the world is drifting toward 0.03, you are climbing toward 37.7. Every morning you choose the alarm over the pillow. You are adding another exponent to your success. Don't underestimate the power of those tiny gains. They are the only things that music truly matter in the long run. Breakthrough is not a destination. It is a way of being. I want you to understand that the breakthrough lifestyle means you are constantly looking for the next level. You never arrive. You never say, I've done enough. The moment you stop growing, you start dying. That might sound harsh, but look at nature. A tree that isn't growing is rotting. A river that isn't flowing is stagnating. You are no different. When you master the early morning, you aren't just doing it to get a promotion or lose 10 pounds. You are doing it to prove that you are a creator, not a consumer. You are here to see what you are truly capable of. You are here to push the boundaries of your own potential. I want you to get excited about the person you are becoming, not the things you'll have, but the man you will be, a man of his word, a man of discipline, a man of vision. That internal elevation is the real prize. The money and the accolades are just side effects of the person you've become in the dark. I know you're tired. I know it feels like nothing's happening, but listen to me carefully. The breakthrough is often closest when the frustration is at its peak. When you feel like you can't take one more early morning, when you feel like the world is ignoring your hard work, that is when the foundation is almost finished. That is when the roots have finally hit the water source. If you quit now, you will never know how close you were. You will spend the rest of your life wondering, what if? Don't do that to yourself. Keep pushing. Keep waking up. Keep doing the work when nobody is watching. The mirror doesn't lie and the clock doesn't slow down for anyone. You have a finite amount of time on this earth to make your mark. How much of it are you going to spend unconscious? How much of it are you going to give away to sleep and comfort? The bed is a comfortable place, but it's a graveyard for champions. Get out of it. Stand up and claim your day. Let's talk about the focus fortress one last time. Your attention is the only thing you truly own. Your house can be taken. Your money can be lost, but your ability to focus your mind on a single goal is your ultimate power. In the early morning, that power is at its peak. Use it wisely. Don't waste your most focused hours on low-level tasks. Don't spend your 5 a.m. energy on answering emails or cleaning your desk. Spend it on the big rock. The one task that, if completed, makes everything else easier or unnecessary. This is how the 1% operate. They don't just work hard. They work on the right things. They protect their peak energy for their peak priorities. While the 99% are busy doing nothing, the 1% are focused on doing everything that matters. Wake up early, enter your fortress, and move the needle. Stop playing around with the small stuff and start tackling the giants. You were built for more than just getting through the day. You were built to dominate it. I want to give you a final challenge. For the next 90 days, I want you to be a ghost, to the old version of yourself. I want you to disappear into your work. Stop posting about your goals and start hitting them. Stop talking about what you're going to do and start showing the results. Let your success be the noise. Wake up at 4 a.m. Do your deep work. Train your body, feed your mind, and stay silent. There is a specific kind of power that comes from silent progress. When people see you again in 3 months and you look different, talk different, and carry yourself with a different energy, they'll ask you what your secret is. You just smile and tell them you started waking up. You don't need to explain the struggle. You don't need to explain the cold mornings or the exhaustion. The results will speak for themselves. You are building a life that most people only dream of, and you're doing it while they're still dreaming. Imagine the day you reach the end of your life. You're lying there, and the person you could have become stands before you. He's fit, he's wise, he's wealthy in spirit and in resource. He's helped thousands of people. He's left a legacy that will last for generations. And he looks at you and asks, "Why didn't you join me?" Don't let that be your reality. Let the person you could have been be the person you actually became. Let there be no gap between your potential and your reality. That gap is closed every single morning when the alarm goes off. It's closed by the glass of water, the open book, the sweat on the floor, and the refusal to negotiate with your own weakness. You have the keys to the kingdom. You have the power to change everything. It all starts with the decision to wake up early and change your life. This isn't just about a schedule. It's about a soul on fire. It's about being the man you were created to be. Nobody is coming to save you. And honestly, you don't need them to. You have everything you need inside of you right now. You have the strength of your ancestors, the fire of your ambition, and the gift of a new day. Don't waste it. The sun is going to rise whether you're awake to see it or not. The world is going to move forward whether you're a part of it or not. You might as well be in the driver's seat. You might as well be the one setting the pace. While they sleep, you grind. While they talk, you build. While they doubt, you believe. This is the way of the elite. This is the path of the 1%. It is a lonely path, but the view from the top is worth every step. I'll see you at 4 a.m. I'll see you in the silence. I'll see you in the arena of greatness. Now, go get what's yours. Let me tell you something about the concept of the mirror test. At the end of every day, you have to look yourself in the eye. You can lie to your boss. You can lie to your spouse. And you can lie to your followers on social media. But you cannot lie to the man in the mirror. He knows if you gave your best. He knows if you hit the snooze button. He knows if you took the easy way out. When you wake up early, you are making a promise to that man. You are saying, "Today, I will not let you down." And when you keep that promise, something incredible happens. Your self-esteem starts to skyrocket, not because of what others say, but because you finally trust yourself. You become your own hero. That internal trust is the foundation of all true confidence. It's not about being loud or arrogant. It's about the quiet certainty that you do what you say you're going to do. Most people are suffering from a lack of self-trust. They've broken too many promises to themselves. Start repairing that relationship tomorrow morning, one win at a time. Listen to me carefully. Your environment is either an engine or anchor. If you surround yourself with people who value comfort more than growth, you will eventually settle for comfort. If you stay in a space that is cluttered and chaotic, your mind will be cluttered and chaotic. In those early morning hours, you have the opportunity to curate your environment. You can choose what you hear, what you see, and what you think. This is why the focus fortress is so critical. You are building a psychological wall between yourself and the mediocrity of the world. You are deciding that for a few hours a day, you live in a world of excellence. You are reading the thoughts of great men. You are pushing your body to its limits, and you are sharpening your mind like a blade. When you finally step out of your fortress and into the world, you are a different breed. You are more resilient. You are more focused. You are more dangerous to the status quo. Don't let the world squeeze you into its mold. Build your own mold in the morning. We need to talk about the 90-day sprint system again, because I want you to understand the commitment required. A sprint isn't a jog. It's an all-out effort. For 90 days, I want you to eliminate anything that doesn't serve your primary goal. This is the winter principle. You are in a season of intense labor. You are planting the seeds for a harvest you won't see for months. It will be hard. You will want to quit. You will feel like you're missing out on the fun things, music everyone else is doing. But remember this. Most people spend their whole lives doing fun things and end up with a life they hate. You are doing the hard things now so you can have a life that is truly fulfilling later. Delayed gratification is the superpower of the 1%. If you can master the ability to wait for the reward, you can master anything. The early morning is the ultimate practice of delayed gratification. The reward isn't the sleep you're getting. The reward is the life you're building. Or strategic patience is not about sitting around and waiting for things to happen. It's about working like a dog while having the calmness to know that the results are coming. It's about understanding that there is a gap between the action and the outcome. Most people quit in that gap. They do the work for a week. They don't see a change in the mirror and they stop. They are looking for immediate feedback in a world that requires long-term investment. You have to be different. You have to have the farmer's mindset. You plant in the spring, you tend in the summer, and you harvest in the fall. You don't try to harvest in the spring. Waking up early is your planting. Your daily discipline is your tending. The transformation of your life is your harvest. Trust the timeline. Trust the process. The universe is not a slot machine. It is a garden. You get out exactly what you put in, but only after you've put in the time. Let me tell you something about the concept of the mirror test. At the end of every day, you have to look yourself in the eye. You can lie to your boss, you can lie to your spouse, and you can lie to your followers on social media. But you cannot lie to the man in the mirror. He knows if you gave your best. He knows if you hit the snooze button. He knows if you took the easy way out. When you wake up early, you are making a promise to that man. You are saying, today, I will not let you down. And when you keep that promise, something incredible happens. Your self-esteem starts to skyrocket. Not because of what others say, but because you finally trust yourself. You become your own hero. That internal trust is the foundation of all true confidence. It's not about being loud or arrogant. It's about the quiet certainty that you do what you say you're going to do. Most people are suffering from a lack of self-trust. They've broken too many promises to themselves. Start repairing that relationship tomorrow morning. One win at a time, one sunrise at a time. The man in the mirror is the only critic whose opinion truly matters in the end. Listen to me carefully. Your environment is either an engine or an anchor. If you surround yourself with people who value comfort more than growth, you will eventually settle for comfort. If you stay in a space that is cluttered and chaotic, your mind will be cluttered and chaotic. In those early morning hours, you have the opportunity to curate your environment. You can choose what you hear, what you see, and what you music think. This is why the focus fortress is so critical. You are building a psychological wall between yourself and the mediocrity of the world. You are deciding that for a few hours a day, you live in a world of excellence. You are reading the thoughts of great men. You are pushing your body to its limits, and you are sharpening your mind like a blade. When you finally step out of your fortress and into the world, you are a different breed. You are more resilient. You are more focused. You are more dangerous to the status quo. Don't let the world squeeze you into its mold. Build your own mold in the morning. Build it strong. We need to talk about the 90-day sprint system again, because I want you to understand the commitment required. A sprint isn't a job, it's an all-out effort. For 90 days, I want you to eliminate anything that doesn't serve your primary goal. This is the winter principle. You are in a season of intense labor. You are planting the seeds for a harvest you won't see for months. It will be hard. You will want to quit. You will feel like you're missing out on the fun things everyone else is doing. But remember this, most people spend their whole lives doing fun things and end up with a life they hate. You are doing the hard things now, so you can have a life that is truly fulfilling. Gratification is the superpower of the 1%. If you can master the ability to wait for the reward, you can master anything. The early morning is the ultimate practice of delayed gratification. The reward isn't the sleep you're getting. The reward is the life you're building. It's the peace of knowing you did what others would not do. Strategic patience is not about sitting around and waiting for things to happen. It's about working like a dog while having the calmness to know that the results are coming. It's about understanding that there is a gap between the action and the outcome. Most people quit in that gap. They do the work for a week, they don't see a change in the mirror, and they stop. They are looking for immediate feedback in a world that requires long-term investment. You have to be different. You have to have the farmer's mindset. You plant in the spring, you tend in the summer, and you harvest in the fall. You don't try to harvest in the spring. Waking up early is your planting. Your daily discipline is your tending. The transformation of your life is your harvest. Trust the timeline. Trust the process. The universe is not a slot machine. It is a garden. You get out exactly what you put in, but only after you've put in the time. The sun doesn't skip a day, neither should you. Let's talk about the feedback and refinement phase. You need to become an expert on yourself. Every single morning when you are in that quiet space, I want you to conduct a brief audit. How is your energy? What is your biggest obstacle today? If you find that you are consistently failing in one area, stop beating yourself up and start building a better system. If you can't get out of bed, put your phone in the kitchen. If you can't focus, block your internet. This is what separates the winners from the dreamers. Dreamers think they can willpower their way to success. Winners know that willpower is a finite resource, so they build environments that make success the only logical outcome. Waking up early isn't a test of your strength, it's a test of your strategy. Refine your morning until it runs like a Swiss watch. Refine your evening until it serves your morning. Be your own coach. Be your own analyst. The feedback you get from your own failures is more valuable than any advice I can give you. Momentum is the secret sauce of the successful. When you wake up early and win that first hour, you are essentially preloading your confidence for the rest of the day. Think about it. If you've already worked out, read, meditated, and planned your day by 7 a.m., how much can a rude email or a traffic jam really affect you? You are playing from a position of power. You have a massive lead. This is the flywheel effect I mentioned earlier. At first, it takes everything you have to get that morning routine moving. But after 30, 60, 90 days, the wheel is spinning so fast that the momentum carries you through the hard days. You'll find yourself waking up at 4 a.m. even on your days off, because your body and mind crave the clarity and the wins. That is when you know you've crossed the threshold. You are no longer trying to change. You have changed. Your momentum is now working for you instead of against you. I want you to understand the breakthrough as a lifestyle. Many people think that once they reach a certain level of success, they can finally go back to sleeping in and being lazy. They think the goal is to reach a destination where they don't have to work anymore. But true champions know that the work is the reward. The discipline is the destination. The reason the most successful people in the world still wake up at 4 a.m. is because they love the person they are when they do it. They love the clarity. They love the edge. They love the feeling of being in control of their own fate. When you make breakthrough your lifestyle, you stop looking for the finish line. You realize that the race never ends, and you're glad it doesn't. You are on a path of infinite improvement. Every morning is a new opportunity to see how much further you can go. Every sunrise is a new challenge to be better than the version of you that went to sleep the night before. As we bring this conversation to a close, I want you to feel the urgency of this moment. You are not going to live forever. Your youth is a vapor. Your opportunities are not infinite. Right now, there is a version of your life where you wake up early, change your life, and become a legend in your own family tree. And there is a version where you stay in bed, stay average, and die with the music still inside you. Both paths are open to you right now. Both paths are waiting for your feet. Which one will you choose? Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to do the push-ups for you. Nobody is going to read the books for you. It's just you and the clock. Your future self is watching you right now through the eyes of memory. He is begging you to have the courage to start. He is begging you to be the hero of your own story. Wake up. Stand up. The world is dark right now, but the sun is coming. Be ready to meet it. Change your morning, and I promise you, you will change your life.